Okay, so to begin with today, we're going to talk through the current state of the front end. And hopefully, if you were at the kickoff sessions, you might have seen a screenshot of this. Maybe if you've been already in the Data2 Insight Slack, you would have seen a link to this and have played around with it. But I think now would be a great time to show you where we're at. And please start thinking about giving us feedback. And I'll talk through the best way to give feedback and thoughts and ideas in a moment. But to begin with, I'll walk through the workflows that we're supporting so far, and you guys can see if this correlates with what you're expecting. So if you go to this site, quality.databeta.herokuapp.com, there'll be a link to that in the description, so don't worry about trying to read it off the video. You'll be presented with the work that I've been doing, and I try to keep this relatively up to date. It might not always be bleeding edge, but in general, if you go to this site, you should see the current state of what I've been working on, and I'll certainly try and update you when this changes. When you click Start here, what's going to happen is behind the scenes, Python starts to load in, and you can see that indicator here that it's loading Python. This is the point where the tool will eventually be going and getting all the code that you guys have written and loading that into the in-browser website, ready to run all those validation rules. For now, because you guys haven't yet written any rules, it's just going to load in a placeholder set of rules that I've written. So there's only two rules here, and you can see them both here. So the two things that it will check for is a fake error that will fire if the child is born prior to 2006, and a fake error that fires if the child has a postcode containing F. Now that that's loaded, there should actually be no need to maintain an internet connection, as the tool is now going to do no further communication with the internet. There's no need to turn it off either, but if you'd like to, for sensitivity or security reasons, it shouldn't affect the running of the tool. Then you can select the output that you want to upload. We have support for CSV and XML files, so if your output is just a single XML file, you can upload it here. I have an example file here. Similarly, if it's a CSV file, you can upload those here. I think right now we don't support every single CSV file, but most should work. And please try more and let me know if it's not working. Once you upload this year's files, you can also go ahead and upload previous year's files if you wish. If you don't, that just means that some of the rules around previous years may not get checked. The tool still works fine with just this year's data. Once you've loaded the files and you've selected the rules you want to run for, you can then click Validate. And after a short wait, you're presented with this screen. This screen shows you each of the child IDs present in your data. So here I'm using a totally synthetic 903 database that we've generated internally. So these aren't real children. It's just data that we think is similar enough to the 903 for testing purposes. And you can see here as a list of children and with a number of errors displayed next to those children. And if I click one of these, it will display specific information about those children and the errors that are showing on that child. So we can see for the fake errors that I've chosen here, this fake error fires if the child was born prior to 2006. I think in this case, the year 2006 is included in that rule. And the fake error that fires if the child has a postcode containing F, well, you can see here that postcode contains F, and that's firing here. This is laid out to show you the information from the header table at the top, and then the episode, review, and other tables in tabs along the bottom here. You can also filter to different error types or different children. So if you're looking for a specific child, you could just type in that child's ID, and it will show you here. So in this case, it's filtered down to here, and I can click there and it will show just that child. Or you can clear that and filter only for a certain error code type. And you can see here a sort of vague overview of the errors in this data. So I think there's around 2,500 children in this fake data. We see about 1,200 were born prior to 2006, and around 500 have postcodes containing F. And selecting these will filter only for children that error is active for. And again, you can unclick to deselect those errors. If you want to go back at any time, you can either reselect different validation rules and revalidate, which will now, as you see, has sort of changed this error list here, because now we're only running for one rule. And if I run again with both, it comes back. You can also click clear data and re-upload, which will drop you back in this upload area and allow for a re-upload of new files, perhaps after you change something in the CMS or made some changes in another place. And the final thing that this allows you to do is to download CSV files. So if you click download CSVs here, it'll prompt you to download multiple files because there's a few different reports that come out. So if you allow that, then you should be able to get these two files, child error summary and error counts. The error summary, I'll just show you now, is a summary showing the child ID, the error code, error description, error field for each error and each child. So this is suitable kind of for export into Excel, for making kind of pivot table reports or other internal reports. Whereas the error counts is a simpler report designed for just showing you those overall error counts. Right now, you can see that information as well on the website, but the hope is that over time, this report will present that information in a way that's easier for it to be added to a different report down the line. So that's where we're at in terms of current functionality. However, we're very, very keen to keep improving the functionality of this. So please do have a think about what you'd like to see that isn't here already. And I'll talk about how you can tell us about that in the next part of the video.